Greetings, metalheads, and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George, and I'm back with another collection update. Yet again, I've been ordering more tapes, and this time from Dissonant Tapes, so a US based label and distro. I've been talking about them quite a lot recently, giving them a lot of praise, alongside like Extremely Rotten Productions. I feel like Dissonant Tapes, they've got the right approach. They've got tons of freaking great stuff available, mainly cassette tapes, supporting the tape scene. But, really reasonable prices, great shipping rates as well, which is a big issue in my opinion. Shipping seems to be the deciding factor, and there's a lot of US stores that actually have considerably better shipping rates to the UK. So it's actually cheaper to get stuff from America to the UK than it is to actually get stuff from Europe or even within this own country, within the UK. So anyway, been ordering some more awesome articles from Dissonant Tapes. So I'm just going to show them off today because I feel like all of these are absolutely worth some praise and showing off. So first of all, we've got two articles which are actually released through Dissonant Tapes. So these are Dissonant Tapes. Both from Gorguts, Canadian, I guess kind of technical, progressive death metalers. A band that, of course, they're a legendary band. They haven't been the most prolific band in terms of their output, a number of releases. They've released some truly legendary albums earlier on in their career. Considered Dead, for example, benchmark album. They've done some solid stuff, but actually, I'm not all that familiar with Gorguts. I must admit, I've got the most recent release from the band. I think it was Pleiades Dust, and that's been out for a long time now. It's kind of very, very proggy, technical death metal stuff. But two albums have been re-released from Dissonance. First of all, I'm not actually sure of the chronology, and I'm actually not familiar with these albums at all. But I decided recently that Gorguts were a band that I really need to actually get more familiar with, because you hear a lot about them, you read a lot about how influential Gorguts have been and how pioneering that band has been. A lot of praise for frontman, kind of founder, Luke LeMay as well. So we've got From Wisdom to Hate, first of all, and as I've just shown off here, we've got a nice insert here, very cool, lyrics, whoops, butterfingers, yeah, nice insert there, cool article. And what is really neat is we've got this kind of like marbled effect tape shell. So I can't really say much about the actual music because I'm pretty sure I've listened to this album on YouTube and heard stuff online previously. But I'm looking forward to tearing into that one just because the anticipation is there. Heard a lot about it. And another album, again, not familiar with this one, is Obscura. So I'm actually not sure of the years of release with these ones, but again, I think you can get CD format of this one. Pretty sure I've seen it around, but nice insert again. Dissonance have done a cool job with this one. There we are. Awesome. And this one's really cool. We've got a all over print shell. It's an interesting artwork, actually. It's pretty creepy. That's pretty sinister stuff. Kind of almost looks like, from a distance, looks like a bat. I think it's actually a guy in meditation. So, two cool articles. As I say, these are actually Dissonant Tapes releases, as you can see there, courtesy of Century Media. And they were still available at the point of me ordering it, obviously. So if you are an Obscura fan or tech death metal, progressive death metal fan, definitely check out Obscura, or I should say Gorguts rather, and Obscura and From Wisdom to Hate through Dissonant Tapes. So sticking with all things wild and progressive and technical, we've got two releases from German. They are pretty much a pioneer, well, maybe not pioneer, but a benchmark band. Absolute legends, Necrophagist. So this band, is a bit of a weird one because they've only got the 2 full-length albums. I think they're split up a long time ago. But they've got such a reputation, such a legacy as being held, as a top-notch, top echelon, progressive technical death metal band. I'm actually not that familiar with it at all. The second album, remind myself, Epitaph, I remember I did have a CD copy of this many years ago, and I do not know what happened to it for the life of me. It might be buried in amongst the collection here somewhere. I might have parted ways with it. I don't actually remember. I don't recall selling it. But the first album, which I believe was 1999, yep, it was actually onset of putrefaction. Yeah, misread that for a second. Onset of putrefaction. I think it had an alternative artwork to this, or I think the CD certainly did. So this is released through Undying Music, I believe. Let me just have a little look here. No, this is in fact... Oh yeah, the reissue is Undying Music. Originally Velvet Music, Noise Solutions, and whatever. There's loads of stuff going on here. Regardless, clear shell with blue print. And insert. Nasty stuff. Grim, grim, grim. There is some mummification going on here. So it's pretty much, from the looks of it, one-man project from Muhammad. And yeah, 1999. That's right. So interesting stuff. We've got the debut. Again, not massively familiar with this at all. I've definitely heard this online in the past, but not for a long time. And I do remember with this album, again, this is actually a Megatherion Records reissue, clear shell with sort of gold print. I remember hearing this and it being totally lost on me. It was not for me at the time, and then revisiting it years later, I was actually able to appreciate it a little bit more. So it looks like we've got a full band here this time round. Still Muhammad, the kind of mastermind behind it. Yeah, cool. So this is a cool article. I decided, again, just like with Gorguts, it's an area of extreme metal that is such a gap in my knowledge that I really need to fill that in. So we've got Epitaph. Cool. Yeah, really cool, actually. I really like the artwork there as well. It's creepy as. So we've got some more cool stuff from Necrophagist. German proggy tech extreme metalers. Okay, so now we're going to stick with another band that is also, surprisingly, a little bit of a gap. Not a complete gap in my knowledge. I've been dipping in and out of this band for many, many years. Cracking band, though. Some absolutely brilliant albums in their catalogue. But these two albums from Malevolent Creation, US death metal, brutal death metal legends, underground legends. These two albums are total gaps in my knowledge. So, really dig Malevolent Creation. They're a great band. You know, they're right up there with that driving, full throttle, pummeling death metal. The likes of Cannibal Corpse, for example, Morbid Angel. They're along that kind of vein. But they've got some cracking albums, actually. Doomsday X is a brilliant one. There's actually quite a lot of albums in their discography. I was quite surprised to see. I really enjoyed the last album, The 13th Beast. I thought that was really good, actually. There's some moments that are a little bit not so great from my understanding, and they seem to have had a little bit of a tumultuous time over the years. Lineup changes, brief and longer hiatuses or pauses and stuff like that. But these two albums, as I say, they're held in very high regard, it seems. So we've got, I think it's right chronologically, we've got Retribution here, which was 1992. So, you know, right place, right time. US death metal scene absolutely in full swing by that point, but raw and still very dangerous. So this is Roadrunner Records, but Megatherion. So they are doing great stuff, making awesome older articles available again. I've been showing off loads of their stuff recently. Deicide, Dying Fetus, all these great albums, Suffocation, that they've been putting out there in tape format. So Retribution, we've got some cool stuff here. Nice insert. They are really high quality as well. But actually, it's an album I can't really comment on much because it gets a lot of praise, a lot of love. You know, it looks metal as hell, but don't know much about it. It is a Scott Burns, Morrisound Studios album. I was going to say that definitely looks like a Dan Seagrave cover, if ever I did see one. So yeah, a nice article there. Cool, nice touch there. Red back of the shell, or case I should say. And then we've got the 10 Commandments, which was 1991, so it's actually prior to Retribution. Again, I'm pretty sure I've listened to this one online actually. I'm pretty sure I've YouTubed this one in the past. Clear shell again, very nice. Print on Roadrunner to Megatherion. Cool insert again. Neat. And cover art again is Dan Seagrave. Yeah, very cool. So actually, I'm quite excited for all of these. This is a bit of an interesting order because there's some of these albums that I've either never heard before or the bands I'm just not familiar with, and it's more like getting familiar, but in tape format, because I love my tapes, as I say. So I've got 2 cool articles from Malevolent Creation. Looking forward to tearing into them, definitely, as I say. Now, a bit of a change, stylistically, but an album and a band that I love. Absolutely love this band. I remember when I first heard them as a mid-teen, I thought it was the most evil, freaking diabolical stuff I'd ever heard in my life. Talking Watain, Swedish black metal, diabolically evil but awesome band. Freaking brilliant. This is Lawless Darkness, which has an amazing cover. Cool insert. So this one is an Undying Music reissue. They've actually done so much stuff. So many reissue albums from them. But originally it was Seasons and Mist. So we've got lyric insert there. Got a pretty terrifying looking lineup shot there. Quite difficult to actually show that one. And tons of cool artwork as well on this insert. Very cool. And I was really surprised to see this crop up, but I really like this album. I can't think of the chronology. This was released in 2010, I believe. As I say, not really sure off the top of my head whereabouts in Watain's discography this one sits, but I know it's a great album. This is evil black metal. It is raw. It is punishing. It is freaking brilliant. And Watain are such a great band. Dangerous stuff. Freaking evil stuff. And so I was really chuffed to have picked up a tape copy of that. Just got nothing but love for this band. They're freaking brilliant. Their last few albums have been top notch. Killer live album they released last year or 2023. I can't remember. But a band, if you like black metal that is raw and blistering and so satanic and evil, Watain, Lawless Darkness, good one for you to check out. So really, really glad to have picked that article up. Now we have another Swedish band, a legendary band, a brilliant band. I absolutely adore this band to bits. This is Unleashed with their debut album, and I was really chuffed to find this one, Where No Life Dwells. So this was released in 1991, and I love this album. I absolutely love this band. I really do feel like, I don't talk about Unleashed enough, if I'm honest, here on the channel, but they are such a great band. So many killer albums. And actually, I know they've got a new album coming out very soon, but they have got a lot of material in their catalogue. And this, I love. So I have it on CD. I've also got a nice vinyl copy of this album as well. Now this tape copy, this is again an Undying Music reissue and Century Media release. But it's so good. This has got that raw kind of early Scandinavian death metal style. I wouldn't say that this is a typical Swedish or Scandinavian death metal album. I feel like this has something else to it. A lot of magic and mystery and mysticism to it. It's just a cracking album. It's one of those albums that has such a vibe to it. It's absolutely encapsulating, with the brilliant intro title piece into Dead Forever. Freaking love it. For They Shall Be Slain, The Dark One, Into Glory Ride, and The Slaughter Has Died, Unleashed. Absolutely brilliant. I think on the second side there, we've got some bonus content as well. 1991. Brilliant. Freaking great album. Unleashed are an album, or a band, I should say, with no bad albums. Only top-notch, high-quality death metal. Proper, true and true death metal. Johnny, bass and vocals, legend. Absolutely freaking love it. Iconic vocal style as well, right from the beginning. Killer logo as well, Unleashed. I did actually at one time have a t-shirt, the Dawn of the Nine album cover artwork t-shirt, and unfortunately it wasn't the best quality and it did wash out, but I remember I loved that t-shirt to bits, because I don't know what it is about Unleashed logo, but it's so eye-catching. It's freaking brilliant. Legendary band. So Unleashed, I think they actually did also have Shadows in the Deep available on tape. I didn't pick that up because I only got so much money. I have actually been culling the collection a bit over the last kind of year or so, basically recycling. So selling some stuff that I maybe don't listen to or don't enjoy or appreciate, you know, the chance wild card purchases that haven't quite worked out, sold them, and they've just been filling the gap immediately with awesome stuff. So, as I say, Unleashed, Where No Life Dwells. Love it. Okay, so now we're still death metal. Death metal debuts, in fact, but again, another band that I absolutely love. Only had the 3 full-length albums, talking Hail of Bullets, and this is the debut of Frost and War. Love this band. Such a shame that they went their separate ways. I think there was some internal conflict. The band was fronted by the great Martin Van Drunen of Asphyx and various other bits and pieces over the years. This is a Flogger Productions, or Flogger, not really sure. I think they're based in Greece, might be. Somewhere in the Mediterranean. A Mediterranean country. Reissue fairly recently, I think. I don't think this has been out for too many years. Doesn't have a year on there. Not a problem. But this is really cool, actually. Great insert. Lengthily. And Hail of Bullets is essentially death metal, very much in the Asphyx vein. I think that's fair to say. Bit of a supergroup, death metal supergroup, but it's all about the Second World War. So the first album, Frost and War, obviously about the Ostfront, the Eastern Front, with some absolutely mercilessly heavy tracks on here. It's a heavy subject, let's face it, but we've got some killer stuff. Ordered Eastwards, which is really cool because it actually has a guest vocal from Dan Swano, who also mixed and mastered the album. But General Winter, Red Wolves of Stalin, The Crucial Offensive, Stalingrad, Berlin. This is just so good. And lineup wise, as I say, a bit of a super group. So we've got Martin on vocals, we've got Theo on bass, we've got Paul Baines on guitars, Stephen Gebetti on guitars, and Ed Warby on drums. So you've got members of Asphyx and Thanatos. We've got some pretty capable people here. And this is a great album. I love it. This is a bulldozer, a death metal bulldozer. If you like Asphyx, then you're going to dig this. If you like Benediction, in fact, I think Dave Ingram actually, ironically, replaced Martin Van Drunen towards the end of Hail of Bullets' existence, which, you know, that's a pretty sound choice for a replacement. Temporarily, I think that was just for live shows, but great band. Hail of Bullets, love it. As soon as I saw that, I knew I had to have it. So, we've touched on Martin Van Drunen and Hail of Bullets, obviously sounding quite a lot like Asphyx. Now, we've actually got Asphyx, and I am chuffed to bits to have found this. This is the debut album, The Rack. Now, this is an all-time classic death metal album. all over print shell, and I adore this album. I absolutely love Asphyx. They're one of my favourite death metal bands, and I know that many death metal fans will also have Asphyx high up in their ratings, and they're holding a special place in their hearts, I'm sure. But this is a freaking beast of an album. I think it was released in, I want to say it was 91, but this is re-released in 2024. But can't quite recall the year. Shame on me. But this is such a great album. This is just an absolute masterpiece. Freaking love it to bits. Cool insert. So we've got our lineup shot there. Very young looking Eric Daniels, Martin Van Drunen, and Bob Bagkus. The legendary lineup. And this was obviously the first album. They had existed before this for a number of years. This first album featuring Martin Van Drunen. I think prior to this he was in Pestilence. But this is great. Freaking just classic, start to finish. Vermin, Diabolical Existence, Wasteland of Terror, The Sickening Dwell, Pages in Blood, and the title track, The Rack. Love it to bits. So pleased to have found this one. This was actually the deciding moment of, do I place the order or not? Saw The Rack, hands down, ordered. There was no hesitation after that point. So we've got The Rack, an all-time classic death metal album. If you're not familiar with Asphyx or you're not familiar with this album, you need to rectify that. If you can pick up the tape, then do. So this is released by Intuit Records alongside Asphyx. I think originally a Century Media release. Asphyx. Dutch legends. Right, now we're sticking with Asphyx for another deciding moment. This is the live Death Doom album on double tape format. So this is really cool. I was a little bit kind of skeptical at first about this, but we've got two tapes, a double album. So I've got this album on on the DVD and CD format, and now on double tape. So it's released originally Century Media. Obviously this is Animate Records, and what they've done here is pretty neat actually. So you've got this kind of slipcase here, and see if I can actually get the tapes out without damaging anything. But we've got, within the slipcase, we've got two tapes. Same artwork, you know, that's fine. It does make you wonder if they could have just released it in one of the sort of long double-sized tape cases, but hey, I'm happy with the nice little slipcase there. So we've got two awesome little tapes here. Just sticker on clear shell. But this is such a great live album. Absolutely brilliant. So we've got individual inserts for each of these with cool photographs in. And talk about set list. My goodness, this is just start to finish classics. This is a tour, a brutal tour of the mighty Asphyx. Vermin, Scorbutics, MS Bismarck. So it was obviously on the touring cycle for Death the Brutal Way, and you do get a lot of tracks from this album, from that album on this live album, like Asphyx 2. I did see some others on there, Blood Swamp as well. Great stuff. Same with the second tape as well. We've got Rifle Gun Redeemer. We've got Cape Horn. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Just start to finish. This is just Asphyx. Stunning Asphyx. They are one of the best death metal bands ever. Death Doom Glory. Again, plain clear, I should say, with a sticker on that shell. And more photos and all cool stuff here. Yeah, like it a lot. In fact, you know what? I'm going to listen to this again after this because I freaking love it. Good lineup shot of the boys in the pub there. Like it. And Animate Records have done some great stuff in recent years. They've reissued loads of albums from like Aborted. I think they've done a couple from Napalm Death as well. Tons of cool stuff. Really good label, actually. And yeah, they've done a great one. Great job with this live Death Doom. If you like Death Doom, death metal, doom metal, heavy, weighty, drony, pounding, evil heaviness, you're going to love Asphyx. They are such a good band. And if you like a good live album, this is one to check out. It's a really great album. I love it. So, there you have it. That is a good run through. Some excellent articles, courtesy of Dissonant Tapes. Love all of these. Chuffed to have found them. So just to recap, we've got 2 releases from Wisdom to Hate and, of course, Obscura from Canadian tech proggy death metalers. Gorguts. Then we've got the 2 full-length albums from Necrophagist, German insane technical maestros. 2 albums, Retribution and 10 Commandments from Malevolent Creation. Wild card here, we've got Lawless Darkness from Swedish black metalers Watain. Then we've got Swedish Legends Unleashed with Where No Life Dwells. Hail of Bullets with Of Frost and War. The mighty freaking masters Asphyx with The Rack. And to round things off, double live tape, Live Death Doom from Asphyx. So my friends, what are your thoughts on these bands, on these albums? Interested to hear thoughts and opinions of others as always. Do check out Dissonant Tapes. I'll put some links in the description so you can head over there and spend your hard-earned pennies as I do frequently. Thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this humble collection update. Really do appreciate the support. Thanks for watching, as I say, and do feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment. It is greatly welcomely received. Do let me know what your thoughts are on these bands and albums. Check back soon for more reviews and recommendations of all the good heavy things. Till next time, take care of yourselves, listen to Cassette, and stay freaking heavy.